Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fast Break here on the Variety Sports Network. I'm your host, Shoot Rock. Here we are back with episode 3. Shout out to everyone watching live here on X/Twitter and YouTube. Appreciate you guys tuning in live. There's a lot of hype for this episode on Twitter today because, man, oh man, NBA All-Star Weekend has come and gone once again. And oh my, that I don't even know where to start, man. I don't even know where to start. NBA All-Star Weekend has completely lost the plot. It was the first year here of this new format of, this tournament, 4 teams, 3 divisions of All-Stars, and then the Rising Stars team, which people were very, very adamant about that they did not like. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. The basketball might have been better than it usually has been, in my opinion. Granted, let me know your opinion here on the chat. That's my favorite part of, doing this live to get to know your guys' opinions on all these things. I mean, anything also we can. I think I'm gonna start. Probably just gonna start with the game and work backwards a little bit here, just because that's fresh on what everyone's mind. Because man, I have some takes, and I'm just gonna come out and say I do kind of feel bad for the NBA a little bit. I think a lot of the NBA discourse, it is very negative, and people do kind of dunking on the league. And I think a lot of those people who do like dunking on it are kind of people who are already tuned out. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched as much NBA as I have, in years past. I'm starting to, pick that back up a little bit here as the season ramps up, and now, I'm hosting this show because, I want to be informed for all you beautiful listeners out there, listening and watching the show. But just it's getting, if it hasn't already, getting to NFL Pro Bowl levels of, yeah, this thing is a joke. Absolutely nobody cares about it, because that's just honestly what it is, and that's honestly what made them have to go to this format in the first place. Like I said, so Team Shaq's OGs, they end up winning the championship, 41-25. Steph Curry gets the MVP in his hometown, or not his hometown, but in his host city. Good to see that. You like to see that. On their path, they knocked off the Rising Stars 42-35, which, like I mentioned, people were not very happy about the Rising Stars' inclusion in this event. And then the finals knocked off the Global Stars, who took down the Young Stars, which that's, like I said, I mentioned it last week. I tweeted it again. It's so obvious the NBA told them to draft this way, to draft these teams. Don't even bother doing the lip service of the draft then. Just make the teams yourself. Say, hey, these are going to be the teams. So as I mentioned, these games were to 40. 40 was the target score. All right, first we got to chat here for Something Stretch, another great show here on the Variety Sports Network. Does this All-Star Game MVP even count for Curry? I'm going to say yes, I guess, but that's what I'm saying. That's how much of a joke this just is getting to. It's just ridiculous. So like I said, these games were to 40. Target score of 40. Originally, I believe the championship game was only going to be at 25. That ended up being 40 because the problem is these games went so freaking quick. I saw a stat. In the 3-hour block that TNT had for the All-Star game, a game, tournament, whatever you want to call it, there was only actually 33 minutes of actual basketball played. The rest was a Mr. Beast shootout that was, while cool, like I said, I don't think I was the target audience for that. Maybe, the younger demographic thinks, okay, cool, Mr. Beast. But I'm sorry, what the heck was that? We had a musical act, which, I mean, it was fine. Like I said, I didn't love it. But at least that was in between games. That at least made sense. And then the middle of the championship game is 11-1, and we are decided to honor Inside the NBA. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Inside the NBA. Am I very sad that it's leaving TNT? Am I very sad that this was Turner's last All-Star Game broadcast? Yes. But it's pretty much all been confirmed. We're going to see these guys back in some capacity, most likely just working for ESPN instead of TNT. What the heck was the point of doing a goofy tribute in the middle of the game. And it wasn't even like it was halftime. The score was 11-1. Like, that's the thing. We're telling the players need to play hard, take this seriously. That's why we're trying all these different things. And I agree they do. I mean, that's my thing. You know, players like Draymond, we're going to get to Draymond later in this episode. He's making all sorts of headlines, so he can still be relevant in NBA media. I know I got some guy coming at me on Twitter for saying, you know, oh, Draymond's just making this all about himself. You know, he doesn't really even, he's not like worthy of being an all-star anymore, so now he's going to rain on other people's parade. But, just, yeah, like what are we doing stopping it in the middle of the game for a tribute of guys that are just going to be back anyways? So that made no sense to me. There just was no flow to the event. Like, it's hard to tell these guys, hey, we need to be serious, we need to play hard, because I agree they haven't been, but then we're going to do like all these goofy gimmicks. Like, it did not make sense to me. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even hate this format. Like, honestly, I kind of thought it was cool. There's going to be a lot of tie-ins I have here, just kind of referencing other leagues. Really, hockey. Hockey's going to be the main one. That's what I'm going to get to more on Saturday night when I talk about Saturday night. Like, hockey's done this like draft where it's like 4 teams, a tournament. And honestly, I think it's been executed very well. But what hockey did was they did 3-on-3. So like their overtime format. And then, you know, that was the tournament. So honestly, I think going forward, do that instead of doing, you know, the Rising Stars team, which people are complaining shouldn't be in it. At least they played hard. That's really all we want. We just want the guys to play hard. And I'm not even saying I want the guys to play hard for 48 minutes. Heck, they don't even do that in regular season games anymore. That's fine, whatever. But I'm just saying, play hard enough that we at least have a competitive game down the stretch. Like, yeah, sure, you can do your crazy dunks, you can pull from, you know, half court, like whatever, but like show some like, hey, the other team's on a run. Let's maybe, you know, step up the defensive intensity a little bit to like get some stops. Like, instead of just chucking up shots, like let's play some offense, like get some, like keep the game close. The perfect all-star game for me that I always reference is 2020. Granted, it did have a little bit, you know, extra meaning with Kobe passing away, where the guys are like, all right, we're going to play hard for Kobe, like honor him, remember him. But that game, like in my opinion, that was like that format was perfect. Well, I like this tournament. I think that was perfect. And like that's what my ideal all-star game would be, where it's like, hey, through 3 quarters, let's play, you know, well enough where this game's gonna be close heading the 4th, and then when they did the Elam ending, like I honestly like playing to these target scores or Elam ending, like whatever in the all-star game, like because I mean, to be real, we don't want to see the all-star game like going down to like fouls and like shooting free throws at the end, like regular season. Like, no, that's not entertaining. I mean, heck, I don't really even like when the target score like ends on a free throw. That's kind of boring in my opinion. But they played close enough where then like going down the stretch to that Elam ending, like they were actually like, then they were playing. Kyle Lowry took a freaking charge in the all-star game. I'm not saying we need to see that all the time, but like at least play close enough through 3 quarters that the 4th quarter, when you ramp up the intensity a little bit, it's, you know, it's a good game. So that's all I'm asking. But like I said, they haven't been doing that. They haven't been doing this. That this generation clearly does not care about the All-Star game. And honestly, that is a little bit of a thing too that, you know, I've kind of been looking into. And I want to hear your guys' takes on this. Like, just in general, do All-Star games mean as much to you guys as they used to? Granted, personally, I think it's a part of me getting older where I'm not looking to it as far. But I was like Snapchatting my one buddy last night. Like, I'm saying, like, it was during the Mr. Beast shootout. It's like, what is this? Like, I remember, like, you know, 2 of us, you know, we used to like hang out, watch the All-Star game. Like, you know, it was like a big event. Like, it was like something fun. And it's clear like it's not that for the players anymore. But again, maybe the younger generation still does get hyped up for it the way I used to. But also just like part of the reason why I think that too, and maybe it's not as entertaining for like fans. If you think about it, like when All-Star games like originated, there wasn't like the balanced schedule that there is like nowadays. Like, I guess I'm talking about like baseball. Like baseball, what? You didn't have interleague play till like the 90s. So like before then, it was kind of the only time of year where the two like a lot of those guys would play against each other outside of the World Series. So now, I mean, you can see those guys play against each other all the time. This balanced schedule. I just think like watching these star players is more easy accessible. Just streaming, just like the more prevalence of like national TV games, stuff like that. So, you know, maybe in a little bit, I can kind of understand the All-Star games like losing their luster a little bit. But it would just be nice to get some sort of effort. Like I said, I think these target scores are great. I think it makes them play effort. I mean, the Rising Stars were playing down the stretch tough against the OGs. And I thought they were going to do that. That's honestly why I was a fan of the Rising Stars, especially, I mean, like, Dalton Knecht got traded and now had to go play LeBron, who traded him. Granted, LeBron's ducking. We can get to that too. That's another point of, like, these guys aren't taking it seriously. Like, that's like, I'd be fired up. Like, you didn't want me? All right, now I'm going to go give you these buckets, show you why you're missing me. Granted, now I guess he's still on his team, but, like, prove him, like, why you should never trade me in the first place. So, like, why I should have never even been on the block. So, I like these targets. I think the tournament could work. Like I said, I would draw on hockey, and honestly, I'd draw on the big three. I don't know how many of you guys watch it. I don't really watch it a bunch, but, like, I'll watch highlights in the summer. Like, the big three Ice Cubes, like, league, which originally was, like, a lot of former NBA, like, stars. Like, they wanted it to be kind of that. I think it's more turned into kind of guys that just didn't, like, make it in the league. But that's, like, competitive. They play to 50. Since it's 3-on-3, it's a little bit slower because it's, like, it's just all half-court sets as opposed to, like, the All-Star game, like, in nature, when they play 5-on-5, it's just kind of be getting up and down, like, not really playing defense. Like, it's going to be quick. And I think that was an oversight with these games only being to 40, was like, they're kind of like, oh crap, these games are over. And, like, we have this 3-hour block we need to fill. That, how are we can fill it? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think the championship game was 40 points. So, like, all right, we can still just play to 40. So I'm saying, like, draw on the big three. Maybe, they upped it to 50. If I remember the original, like, big three season, week 1, they played to 60, realized that was too long, shortened it to 50. So I think, perfectly, you could do, hey, both semifinals to 50. Based on time, you could play to 40. You could still play to 50, whatever. But, like, I don't hate this format. I think it made more competitive basketball. My more thing is, like, so many players were really out against it. And that's the concerning part for me. Like, you need the players to want to play. And, like, clearly they haven't. But when they're now, like, very vocal, this format sucks. I mean, Draymond Green's on TNT calling the format a 0 out of 10. That's not good for the game. That's not something you can have. So that kind of gets me to my next point about another format, and we'll transition to Saturday night a little bit here. So we have All-Star Saturday night. It's the usual. We got the skills challenge. We'll get to that. We have we got the 3-point contest. Believe I correctly called the winner Tyler Hero. Unless my memory's mistaken, I picked someone else, but I'm pretty sure I picked Tyler Hero last week. I should have written it down. And then we got Mac McClung, 3-time dunk contest champion. He's hooping. I mean, that guy is single-handedly saving the dunk contest. But that's what I'm saying. That, too, I'm seeing people complain. Oh, he's a G League player. Like, he's not actually an NBA player. Like, he shouldn't be able to, like, just keep being in it. We had three like, no-name players. Why are people hating on Mac McClung? That's what I'm saying. If people don't want rising stars, if you don't want Mac McClung, like, if you don't want these guys in these all-star events, then the stars and faces of the league need to step up. Because I don't know about you. I mean, Mac McClung's at least entertaining. I mean, Stephon Castle did give him a good run. Castle had some very nice dunks. I mean, he didn't dunk over a car. I mean, that was cool, too. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of Vince Carter, kind of callbacks. The Blake Griffin dunking over the car callback, I really liked that. That was my favorite dunk. Probably one of the best ones I've seen in a while. And granted, McClung's got, just the collection of just great dunks from these 3 years. But yeah, if people want to see someone other than Mac McClung, like, I'm sorry, like, Montes Buzelis, Andre Jackson, and Stephon Castle, like, that's not moving the needle for me on the dunk contest. Like, it's just not. The 3-point contest, like I said, Tyler Hero won. Darius Garland had a really good first round, just didn't perform in the finals. Yeah, 3-point contest is fine. I don't know. Like, the 3-point contest, honestly, I think it's, like, the best event just because it's, like, simple. It's, like, over time. It's, it's the same thing. Like, you can compare. It's easily comparable history to history or year to year, like the history. Granted, now there is these, like, weird starry balls. I mean, maybe if you don't like those, so be it. But, yeah, 3-point contest is fine. The worst one, the one we need to get rid of, the skills challenge. We had Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama just chucking the balls. They weren't even shooting. They just threw the balls out there being like, oh, let's cheat the system. Let's get a fastest time. Thank goodness I got disqualified because, oh my God, can you imagine? Like, that's just, everyone want to blame it on Chris Paul too, which is the funny part. Like, he could have just, like, kept that. Wemby's like, no, it was my idea. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, that's what I'm saying. The players don't take this seriously. Granted, maybe you could say, okay, Wemby's thinking he's gaming the system. You know, he's a chess player. He thinks he's one step ahead mentally. Like, no, come on. Anyone with common sense can just, like, realize that's Bush League. That's not the name of the challenge. And that's what we're going to do. Like, get rid of that event. You know when the Mr. Beast challenge should have been? It should have been on Saturday night. Because, you know, last year they had that Steph versus Sabrina shootout. They wanted to do it versus Caitlin Clark this year. They clearly couldn't get her. I saw some guy replied to the tweet, like, saying, like, Caitlin Clark owes, like, the NBA to, like, no. The All-Star Weekend should not be at the point where we're relying on a WNBA star to save All-Star Weekend. No, that is not her responsibility at all. If you think it is, let me know in the comments. Maybe, you know, more people agree with, I forget who it was that said that. It was, like, some former player, I believe. So let me know if you think that, but I don't. Like, I would have loved to see, okay, let's do the Mr. Beast logo shootout where, like it was like Dame had to make 3. Let's just do, like, a bunch of guys, like, almost like knockout style, maybe, where it's like, all right, whoever makes 3 logo, like, 3s first advances. And then, sure, at the end, bring out frickin' Jaren or whatever random fan from the 100 level, which that, too, again, maybe we get a little too deep into here, but, like, no 100 level fan that's sitting 100 level the All-Star game needs $100,000 from Mr. Beast. Like, that was just, like, part of it too, that I'm like, what are we doing here? Bring out some fan to hit 1 before the who won can hit 3. Or there you go, bring out Kevin Hart. I didn't even touch on Kevin Hart. Oh, that was brutal, dude. His jokes just, like, were not funny. It was just so awkwardly placed. Like, honestly, it would have been better. Like, when they said MC, I thought he'd be like a Rucker Park style, like, going around the court, like, announcing, like, you know, I just watched Mr. Drew or Uncle Drew over the weekend, not Mr. Drew, Uncle Drew. Like, you know, in that tournament, you know, they're in the Rucker 50 and they got the MC. Like, if Kevin Hart was doing that, I honestly think that would have been fine. I think that would have been interesting. That's what I'm saying. If you do that 3-on-3 half court, I think having an MC, like, calling it, I think that would work. Like, I think that would work well. But yeah, have Kevin Hart, have some fan, have Mr. Beast himself. Can he make a logo 3 before Dame or Steph or whoever can make 3? Because it was just so awkwardly, like, placed, like, during the game where it was like, all right, hey, we're gonna do this commercial break, and it's like, oh crap, you guys aren't hitting me soon enough, we're gonna have to go to commercial. Like, no, just have that be the event. Have that be the, like, instead of the skills challenge, do like a knockout, do something like that. So I just think like Saturday night needs a bit of a revamp. And I say that he's going on at the same time. Well, it's something that, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't, like, super high on heading into it. I thought kind of the timing of this was a little weird. The Four Nations face-off just absolutely dominated Saturday night. Like, there was just so many memes of Saturday night's got Wemby and Chris Paul throwing balls, LiAngelo Ball doing tweaker, and then hockey's got 3 fights in the first 10 minutes. Like, it was electric. I mean, I was out, you know, I was trying to get, that's a little bit why I was late. I was trying to get my buddy Matt, who was out with me here on Saturday night, kind of get his take on this. And we were out Saturday night. We were watching, you know, some college ball, but they also had, you know, All-Star Saturday night, and they had the Four Nations face-off on at the bar. You know, I literally was perfect. I had, like, the 4 TVs all in front of me where it was like Four Nations, All-Star Saturday night, Illinois, Michigan State, Texas, Kentucky. It was beautiful. It was perfect. The most buzz in that place by far was for the U.S.-Canada game. And I honestly, like, I think the NBA, they need to see that. Granted, yeah, anytime you have USA, you know, you've got your country's name on the front of your chest, you're going to play harder. The fans are going to care more. And originally, like I said, I was kind of, like, thought it was weird. It's like, all right, this is weird timing. We're doing it here in the middle of the season, like, right after football. Seems like weird. Like, I feel like that's when it's like, all right, now the focus of other sports kind of, like, comes into the picture, and we're just, like, not having NHL games for a week and a half because we're doing this tournament. But it's honestly worked really well. It's been exciting. The only thing, yeah, I wish there was more teams in it. Like, I don't know, I was watching Canada-Finland this afternoon, but now since Canada won, like, tonight's U.S.-Sweden game, I have it on right here, but, like, it doesn't mean anything. So I wish it was kind of like 2 groups where it was like, all right, the 2, you know, Canada, Finland, US, Sweden could have been during the day, and then, you know, whatever the second group played tonight. So games mattered. And also just, like, I don't love the amount of off days. Like, you know, after Canada US Saturday night, I'm like, all right, give me some more games on Sunday. Like, I want to be fired up. But Doesn't matter. It's a basketball show. I really think, and I think it was even mentioned, I think a U.S. versus World All-Star game format I think it would play. Because, I mean, this Court of Gold documentary comes out tomorrow on Netflix. I'm really excited for that. Like, you could tell, just from the clips I've seen, these international guys, man, they want to beat these U.S. guys. They've had enough of the U.S. just dominates basketball. Like, it's our turn. And, it was cool to see. I mean, the Olympics was a lot of fun for basketball. I mean, it didn't really matter. It was exhibition basketball technically, but a lot of people are talking about it. It was they were good games. I enjoyed watching them. It was clear these guys cared about it because they had U.S. on the front of their chest. Granted, will these world guys maybe care as much if it's saying, world instead of their actual country? If, the thing with these other countries, well, they're not all NBA guys. They've all been playing together for however long, will it have the same effect? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, Nikola Jokic is a perfect example. He's the best player in the NBA, but in the All-Star game, it's clear he doesn't care, doesn't really try. And so who knows? Maybe if maybe World wouldn't get him going the way Serbia does. I mean, he won a bronze medal for it was in the Olympics or World Cup with Serbia, and they were partying, they were going crazy. He was more excited for the bronze medal than he was for winning the NBA Finals. So I don't know if it will work, but I think it would at least be something to try. I really think that's what they need to do. They need to rotate it. I don't think it should just be the same format every year. I think, 1 year you could do this 3-on-3, kind of street ball style tournament. Another year you could do U.S. versus World. Another year you could do East versus West. I mean, it's clear these guys want East versus West. And just, I feel like a different format would make it interesting. All right, we got a comment here from Jay Edwards VSN. Can the NBA do that, though? There are 10 dudes internationally that can go up against our best 10. I mean, no LeBron, no stuff, not the guys coming in their run. I've debated about this before. I mean, you got Luka, you got Giannis, you got Jokic, Shea. I'm the Canadian guys, they would count. I'm missing somebody. Who's Luka, Shea, Giannis, Jokic. I guess Embiid's now technically USA. Well, Kyrie today is saying how he wants to play for Australia in the next Olympics. There you go. So a starting five of Kyrie, Shea, Giannis, or Luka, Giannis, Jokic. I mean, that's a pretty good five. Do I know? I don't know. I guess it's something I'd have to look into more. It's maybe something I should have prepared a little bit more. But I genuinely think there probably could be. I mean, that's what I'm saying though. They had 8 guys here on this team that were technically international. Granted, I mean, Mitchell, they just kept kind of be oh, he's got Panamanian descent or something. Let's look at this. The Chuck's global stars. Okay, we have Siakam, Jokic, Cat, Shea, and then they were going down Mitchell. But Şengün, I didn't even say Wembanyama. How did I forget Wemby? Trey, I don't think Trae Young's internet. Yeah, Trae Young was the replacement for Giannis. Who would be all right? Then his Jay Edwards VSN. Who would be our starting 5 on the fly? Well, if you're saying no Steph, no LeBron, that does make it a little tough. They definitely would have us dominated in the bigs, I'd say. I mean Dame. I'd say Dame is still young enough because I'm just looking kind of here. This Shaq's OGs. I mean a Dame, Jaylen Brown. I definitely I think Brown, Tatum around that squad for sure. Looking here, kind of Brunson would be in there. I mean, you could argue there's honestly guards that I think would be competing for that spot. I mean, throwing Darius Garland, throwing Cade Cunningham. I mean, bigs of Jaren Jackson, Evan Mobley. That's what I'm saying. I still think for another year or two, you could throw LeBron and Steph in there. I guess it's just bigs. Bigs is where it maybe gets a little bit tough. Where you're gonna have to go a Jackson, you have to go a Mobley. I'm trying to think who else. Oh well, a guy on the international side too that should have been also Sabonis. There you go. That's another international guy. AD was injured, didn't play. AD's a big that he'd be there. So yeah, honestly, I feel you could. You probably almost have to run like 3 guards just because there is probably more guards. Like Trae Young should be in that mix. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know who my starting 5 would be. Like who'd be the center? Who's like the best American center? I'm just trying to think. Let me like Google like because that's the thing. Sometimes off the top of my head here, um, I kind of like forget USA starting centers. If you guys have any ones, let me know in the comments. Oh, Bam. That's what I'm forgetting. Bam does have Siakam. Yeah, Siakam's American, I believe. Yeah, like Bam, Anthony Davis. Yeah, actually, a lot of these guys like are. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these like bigs are international guys. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be interesting have like kind of have the bigs versus the guards a little bit. So I would definitely say probably guards goes a little bit more the American side, but the guards I'd say or the guards U.S. has the advantage. Bigs I'd say international has the advantage. So I'd say yeah, switch it up. Don't go the same format every year. And my other idea, so you kind of say this Four Nations face off the NHL is doing. It's kind of an in-season tournament. I wonder if the NBA has an in-season tournament. Well, wait, they do. Started 2 years ago. And honestly, I'm a fan. It does get me to care more about regular season games than it usually would. Honestly, I think the players it does as well. And I think instead of doing like maybe every 4th year, instead of doing the All-Star game, just do the in-season tournament. Do it in like January, February, and have this All-Star weekend instead be the in-season tournament like Final Four, where it's like, all right, everyone's in Vegas. You could still have it where it's like, all right. So what I would do, this is my thought here. Let me know what you guys think of this. So the first one they did like the semifinals on a Thursday. Granted, then they moved that to a Saturday this year because they didn't want to compete with football. Well, that's the thing. And if you do it in February, do it this week. Football's over. You're not competing with football. So semifinals on Thursday, which, like I said, there's debate. Should those be in Vegas? Should those be in home sites because they are still regular season games? Go either way. But I mean, because there's NBA games on Thursday before the All-Star break. But kind of, yeah, have the semifinals Thursday. Friday night, do your rising stars, celebrity, do all that on Friday. Saturday, kind of revamp it. Maybe like I still would name all-stars just for like legacy's sake of like, hey, these guys get the honors, but we're not doing a game this year. And that's like kind of the one thing that does like bug me about like the NHL when they don't do the game is it's like, all right, like it's like kind of like mess up guys' legacies a little bit. It's like, all right, we just didn't name all-stars. Like it's a little odd to me. Like I would still name all-stars. Maybe you have some sort of where like the guys that are named all-stars like compete in like the event Saturday night unless here you go. Unless your team is in the finals of the NBA Cup, you can be exempt. But other than that, if you're an all-star, like you have to compete in some sort of event on Saturday night. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't just have to be 3-point dunk guys. Like we can get creative here. We can come up with some other events. It could be skills challenge, could be, a shooting stars, whatever. It could be knockout. Or even, like a one-on-one tournament would be interesting. I'll have to check it out more, but I know this like women's 3-on-3 league, which that's another, kind of like the big three can draw on that, see what they're doing. I'll have to check it out a little bit more. I haven't super tuned in, but I have seen they've been doing like a one-on-one tournament. You're telling me some sort of like all-star, like one-on-one tournament, king of the court style thing where, you could do like kind of how they have like front court and back court voting, do like a front court bracket, do a back court bracket, and then like the winner of each like play for Mr. Beast's $100,000 kind of thing. Like you could do something like that on Saturday night, do all this stuff Saturday night. And then Sunday, like I said, either do some sort of like quick little all-star thing or just have it be the championship game. Have that be the marquee event of Sunday night. Have everyone out there, could still do your, musical guests, do all your intro. Like, honestly, just be like a Super Bowl. Like, it literally just be like a Super Bowl, essentially. Because the NBA, these other leagues don't have that. Their season, their championships are multiple games. This would be just kind of your, like, main event. Could still be, get all of NBA media out in Vegas, like everyone's, like they kind of do now. Or, I mean, could, You could do it different, like South Beach. Everyone would go to South Beach. People go to LA. Like it's in the Intuit Dome next year. Like I definitely think it could be something where it's like every couple of years, or even maybe we just the next 2 years we do this, and then it kind of gets guys be like, oh man, I missed the All-Star game. I want it back. Like just have the in-season tournament be like just get rid of the All-Star, because that's what I kind of need to do. I feel like because the NFL just don't like the Pro Bowl. It's a complete joke. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl, but they don't market it as like their marquee event anymore. They have, I don't know if they really ever did, but like there's not the hype for that used to be. They're just kind of like, all right, well, punt on the Pro Bowl. It gives us some sort of programming for that week in between the Super Bowl, and then now really like Super Bowl media week is like the bigger deal than the Pro Bowl. So like do something like that. We're just like punt on the All-Star game and make the NBA Cup Finals, or like find out something else to be the main like kind of marquee NBA event during the season, rather than because it's either like the players do have to try more. I mean, this is crazy. I think we do have some baseball people in here right now, but like the MLB All-Star game ended in a tie, and like it was kind of clear like, all right, these guys like don't care. Like it's kind of getting ridiculous. Like that was like a terrible look for the sport. So what they do? They made the winner of the All-Star game gets home court or home field. Try it out. Do East versus West. Winner gets home court in the NBA Finals. Or, I don't know, do some sort of like the winning team gets to pick, like, I don't know, they kind of bounce back and forth in the format where like sometimes the finals they've done 2-3-2, where the higher seed has 2 home games, then the lower seed has the middle 3, and the higher seed has the last 2. They did that for a little bit. Now they've gone back to the just 2-2-1-1-1, like the rest of the playoffs are. Do something where the winning conference of the All-Star game, their representative in the finals gets to pick the format. I know I'm like getting extreme here. I know these are kind of getting a little ridiculous, but it's just kind of come to that, in my opinion. Like, I don't really know if it can be saved, the All-Star game. And like I said, like I was saying earlier, maybe All-Star games they're just not what they used to be anymore. It's more accessible for fans to watch all these guys. There's all this other stuff going on, but I just think you can't see what the product was this weekend. And like I said, I don't even think the basketball was horrible compared to years past. It was more just like the marketing, just like the presentation just was not bad or was not good. And it's clear like the guys just like did not care. So for me, it's just concerning. Like they have to do something. So let me know what your guys' fix would be. Would it be this, go back to East versus West? Would it be, maybe we do a 3-on-3 tournament instead of 5-on-5? Or would it be, like my NBA Cup idea? Maybe you guys have like could the NBA do some sort of Four Nations face-off with like USA, Canada? I don't even know who I'd have. Like, who would, honestly, that's a good question. Who would you guys have like as the NBA's like Four Nations even? Like, I'd probably go like US for sure, obviously. I think I'd go Canada now. Like, they do have a good amount of NBA players. And then I'm probably, I'm considering like Spain's in the mix. I think Germany's in the mix. Obviously, you want to have like Luka and like Jokic involved, but like, I don't know, maybe you have to do like some sort of kind of like how the NHL did for the World Cup of Hockey, where they had like the Team Europe, where it's just kind of all the other European countries played together. Maybe you do some sort of like team like Eastern Europe thing like that. I don't know. Maybe they could do something like that too, but there needs to be some sort of fix. It can't just keep running back this product. Like, change something or just punt on it, because it's not working. So let me know what you guys think down below. Oh, I gotta mute my mic. All right, so moving on here, we're gonna start with what the episode was titled, because I do want to finish some All-Star thoughts with Draymond Green. Draymond Green said that he would be he's been offered the job of the head coach of the Warriors once he retires. And that might be the most preposterous statement I've ever heard. One, I just don't think it's true. I mean, like, Steve Kerr has been a very, very good coach. He's won 4 NBA titles. I mean, that team lost in the first round or Mike Brown. Then Steve Kerr comes in. They've won 4 titles. Granted, he has Steph Curry. He has Klay Thompson. He had Kevin Durant for 2 of them. So, granted, do I think he's like, that it was just like all coaching? No. He had definitely a lot. But why would you get rid of him, unless maybe he's retiring? Maybe it's something that we don't know, for Draymond Green? Draymond Green, again, I love the guy. He played his role on those championship teams very well. He's an instigator. He's a scrapper. He did the dirty things for his stars to shine. And that's something, it's kind of, when I play basketball, that's how I have to be a little bit. I mean, heck, I almost got into a fight with some guy in my men's league last night because I thought he was kind of, picking on one of our guys. So I kind of, let him hear it. And, I like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like understand the, you have to play on the line a little bit. And, occasionally you cross the line. It's not ideal, but it happens. Well, Draymond Green at this point he just crossed the line all the time. He knows his team's like they're not competing to win championship. He's just like he's just not a serious player. Like he's just I don't even know how to describe. I mean, he's just past his prime. Like, let's be honest, he's past his prime. And that's where, some of his comments last night like really bugged me, where he's saying like how like the rising stars like don't deserve it. This format's a 0. To me, it's just him being a hater. It's just him being salty that, man, like this All-Star game is in my city and I'm not good enough to play in it anymore. It was really fun when my team was winning championships and, we were having 4 All-Stars every year. I was one of them. But now, that time's passed me and now I'm going to be a hater. And that's the thing. I know there is people, they don't like TNT. They don't like Inside the NBA because that's what they think it all it is. It's just like old players hating on the new game. And to an extent, I can see that point. But why I like is I think they're entertaining. I think they add value. I think they're banter with each other. Like, that's the thing. They go at each other too. It's not all just like, going at this age of players. Like Chuck and Shaq go at it every time. Like I've like thought they're close to like fist fighting on this show, the way they go at each other. And that's what makes it fun. They have good chemistry. I just really don't think Draymond Green adds to that. I think when he goes on there and he hates, he's just being a hater. Like, he's not funny. He's not really adding anything. So I don't want to see him in the media, but I also just don't want to see him as a coach because he wouldn't be a good coach. Like, I think Steve Kerr's a perfect example. You see so many of these guys who are the good coaches, like former players are good coaches. They weren't like great players. They were like the role players. They were the high IQ guys. Do I think Draymond, is not to like the same extent as like a Steve Kerr or JJ Redick? I think he is a smart basketball player, but like I said, he also does this like he's got these antics and shenanigans. It's not gonna work as a coach. That's just Dan Hurley. He's just Dan Hurley, but played in the NBA. That's the thing too. I've seen a lot of that lately. Like Dan Hurley, he turned down these M's from the Lakers to, now get clowned to UConn. Like, no, Dan Hurley would have been horrible with the Lakers. I watched the John Calipari One Not Done document recently, and they kind of like went into how like just like the Nets, like his coaching style just didn't work, and especially like in this age of the NBA, how the players, I don't want to call them soft, but they're not playing every night. They're taking care of their bodies, which I respect it. It's be healthy for the playoffs. Like I said, the NBA has completely devalued the regular season with the play-in and just how like accepting load management, honestly. And that's where I just don't think fiery guys work. Like John Calipari didn't work. Dan Hurley would not have worked. Rick Pitino really didn't work. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like Draymond Singh he'd be a fiery guy, and that doesn't work. I mean, heck, look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant did not want to come back to the Warriors. The Warriors want to bring back Kevin Durant. He didn't want to come because he didn't want to deal with Draymond. And I can't blame him. So for Draymond Green to just, like I said, I just think it's him. He just wants to stay relevant. He knows he's washed up. He knows his time has passed. He just wants to stay relevant. So now he's going to go on TNT, be a hater. He's going to say, oh, I've been offered the next coaching job. Like, I think I pulled up, the Steven Jackson meme when he went on Part of My Take, and he's like, can't wait to drink so I can lie to people. Like, that was Draymond. Draymond must have been drinking yesterday just so you lie. Oh, I got offered the head coach. I would be absolutely shocked if Draymond Green is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors once he retires. I can't see it. I think he's going to work for a TNT. Well, obviously not TNT, but he's just going to like have a media role. He's going to, kind of go in on the hating bit. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll get a little bit more entertaining. Like I said, right now, I don't really love him when he does it. It's fine, but it's not as enjoyable. So Draymond Green coaching the Warriors, no, not happening. If you think he is, maybe if you disagree with me, think he would be, I'd love to hear why you think that. But just in my opinion, no, I don't think it would work, and I think it would just be a complete misstep by the Warriors. I mean, you just have a bunch of young guys and go from this legendary coach they've had in Steve Kerr to Draymond Green, his shenanigans. Like, I just think that would stunt guys' development. I don't see how that would be beneficial for the Warriors. So to wrap up the show here, unless, like I said, if you guys have any other takes on All-Star Saturday night, All-Star, weekend, I'd love to hear them. But we'll wrap up the show. Just kind of go into here some standings and what to kind of look forward to. Going the rest of the season. Because, no basketball game until now. This year it's on Wednesday. We got Lakers and Hornets on Wednesday. But until then, there's not a whole lot of basketball this week. So let's kind of look at these standings here, heading into this final stretch here. We got about February, like 2 months. So the playoffs are gonna be here before you know it. Just kind of drop some of my takes. Here, yeah, I'll say that. Drop your takes about the second half of the NBA season. So looking at the standings here, we still got the Cavs in first, 44-10. I think they're definitely, gonna win the East. I've said that last show. I don't think anyone's catching them. Then we got Boston 39-16, Knicks 36-18, a little behind them. Then we got the Pacers, the Bucks, and the Pistons are actually all like kind of right in the line. Pacers 1 game up from the Bucks 1 game up from the Pistons. Then we got the play-in group, which right now would be Magic versus Hawks, and then Heat versus Bulls. Heat and Hawks are tied with the same record. I think the Heat, maybe jump up a little bit here. And then closing out teams out on the outside looking in, we both Philly and Brooklyn stuck at 24-24. And then we have Toronto, Charlotte, Washington. They're done. They're not making playoffs. Then on the Western Conference side, we got Thunder in first. They're gonna finish in first. They're 8 games up on the Grizzlies. Then we got the Grizz in second. The Nuggets, half game behind them. Rockets 2.5 behind them. And then the Lakers, who are half game behind the Rockets, and the Clippers 2 games behind the Lakers. So some tight races. And then, we get to the play-in. Minnesota's just 1 game back to the Clippers. Mavericks just 1 game back to the Timberwolves. Kings 1.5 behind the Mavericks, and the Warriors tied with the Kings. Then on outside looking in, we got the Suns currently outside looking in, 1.5 behind Golden State and Sacramento. We got the Spurs, who are 3.5 games. Would love to see the Spurs make it. Wemby, Chris Paul, now De'Aaron Fox. Maybe they go on a run. They are 3-7 in their last 10. I don't really see it as right now. And then we got the Blazers, who were hot, but have kind of come back down to earth. They're 23-32. And then Jazz Pelicans, who are out. Starting here, my takes in the East. I think, Cleveland's the first. I still just think it's the Celtics Eastern Conference to lose. They're defending champs. They've matched up well against all these teams. I mean, the Cavs, I believe, have beaten them, but Cavs have struggled a little bit with some of these top tier teams. So while they are going to get the first seed, we're going to see. It's going to just really depend. Can they defend home court if they play Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals? But I don't even think it's going to be guaranteed because, the Pacers and Bucks, I really hope we get that series again. It's been really good these past couple of years, especially last year. It's going to be interesting to see. Who knows, though? Maybe could the Heat, could Miami go on, a run? Say probably not. No, they don't have Jimmy Butler, but who knows? For me, though, the team that I'm watching out for that, it's kind of now or never time, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. They're finally, they get a break. Paul George has been horrible. Paul George has been Tobias Harris with better branding, is what a take I heard from Ryan Russillo today. And honestly, I agree with it. He's been very underwhelming, especially for the amount of money they've signed him to. He needs to step up. Philly is too good of a team to miss the play-in. And the Bulls are not trying to win. Bulls are not trying to be a play-in team. Bulls want to be in the lottery. So it's going to be interesting. Can Philly go on a run? I think it's kind of now or never. Or honestly, I think this offseason, Joel Embiid goes. I think we're getting closer to I've done all I can for the city of Philly. They don't love me. I'm done. And honestly, while I don't blame him, it's also like, dude, you've sat out over 400 games in your career. Like, what are we talking about here? All I've done for the city, they owe me. Like, I just don't agree with that. I just don't agree with that. But it would not surprise me. And just honestly, I just think the process, they missed the play-in. The process is a failure. I guess that's my biggest take here in these comments. The Sixers missed the play-in. The process is a failure. It's over. It's done. Trade Embiid. Probably no one's going to take Paul George, but I don't know. Maybe you can buy him out or something. Just tank. You're done. The Sixers, the process is done. It's not going to work. It worked in theory, but it on execution on the court just did not work. Like, they got the right players, but they didn't execute. I mean, Ben Simmons fell off the face of the earth. Joel Embiid just hasn't produced to the level that he's capable of. He's just not healthy enough. And, he's going to need surgery at the end of the season. He's probably going to miss, then a good chunk of next season. Like, just get rid of him. Cut your losses while you can. Trade him for pennies on the dollar. Just it's done. The process is done if the Sixers don't make a play on. So those are my two big takes out east. It's the Celtics conference until I see somebody beat them. I'd love to see I'd love to see the Knicks. I think the Knicks in the finals. I think the Knicks, at least in the Eastern Conference Finals, could be really entertaining. Granted, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we'd get that. I think we're kind of stuck here that it's going to be like a Knicks Celtics semis and then Cavs versus Pacers, Bucks. The Pistons would be cool, but actually no, that'd be the other side of the bracket then too. That wouldn't even work, I don't believe, unless they jumped up. So I'm a big believer in you need to take your lumps in the playoffs in the NBA. I mean, we saw last year with the Thunder and some of the younger teams out west. Seen the past couple of years, you need to take your lumps before you're ready to really do it. So I think it's going to be Celtics, Knicks, and then Celtics, Cavs, and I'm taking the Celtics. Right? I don't think that's a hot take, but until somebody knocks off the Celtics, I'm going with them as my pick to win the East and probably my pick to win the finals. Out west, the West, I'm really excited for. I think it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna get some really good matchups. Like I said, I think OKC, they're locked into that one seed. OKC's gonna be the one. Is 2 through 5, maybe even 6. We'll see. Granted, I could see the Lakers as a playing team too. They don't have a big. Like I said, I do think people are kind of underselling them. I think anytime you have Luka and LeBron, you have a chance, and that's what I'm saying. I think if the Lakers would love to see the Rockets in the first round, love to see a young team that's got to take their lumps. I mean, they kind of did that a couple years ago when they went on their run. They got Memphis in the first round, handed Memphis their lumps, then played the Warriors, good series, but they're just a better team. Granted, then got swept, housed by the Nuggets. So Lakers clearly don't want to see the Nuggets. I don't know if I can do another Lakers-Nuggets series. All those games end the same way, and it's just absolutely infuriating. But honestly, I don't know. I'd love those. I'd love the Lakers and the Clippers to jump the Rockets because the NBA forever was hyping up, especially when Kawhi and Paul George signed. And now Paul George is gone. The Lakers-Clippers rivalry, especially now, first year, the two teams in separate arenas. I think it would be really cool to see a Lakers-Clippers playoff series. So I'm there's part of me that's really hoping we can etch that out some way, figure out some way to get that. Then, it really, I think it's going to be the play-in race is going to be interesting. I mean, Minnesota's a good team. Granted, we had Ant's apparently now dealing with some injuries. Granted, it might have just been all-star flu. I guess that was one thing I also just didn't mention of, and just the guys not taking the game seriously. LeBron and Anthony Edwards, day of the game, just oh, we're not playing. What is that? That makes no sense to me. I've been going on this show, both episodes so far. How is Domantas Sabonis not an all-star? Well, if LeBron announced he wasn't playing, Domantas Sabonis would have been an all-star. I don't know who would have replaced Ant. Sabo would probably also had to be a West guy. It couldn't have been LaMelo, I don't think. So, but yeah, that was just kind of I didn't feel great about that, to be honest. It's his right to not play in the All-Star game. Honestly, that I don't have the big issue with. I have a problem with him announcing hours for the game. Yeah, I'm not playing. And then taking the photo in his street clothes. Dude, announce you're not playing, just either don't come or put in the effort for the picture. What are we doing here? So that was goofy to me. But I would love to see the Timberwolves go on a run again. Honestly, I'd love to see Denver, Minnesota again. That might be my dream here if either Denver jumps Memphis or the Timberwolves jump into the 6. I guess yeah, that'd be my dream matchup there. I'd like to see Nuggets Timberwolves. Then we're gonna get Dallas, we can get Sacramento, we can get Golden State. I mean, Sacramento Golden State once again could be really fun as like a play-in game. I mean, they had the good series a couple years ago, and then the playing game last Sacramento one. I'd love to see that. Honestly, I guess that'd be my pick. What I would like to see the most, then I'd like to see OKC play against Golden State. Could Steph and Golden State have maybe one last run? Could they pull? Could they be the new We Believe Warriors instead of the young guns? The old guys this time pulling the upset. That would be those would be my dream matchups out west. I'm gonna go. So yeah, I want OKC Golden State. I want Nuggets. So what do we want then? We want. All right. I'm trying to think how I could work this where it'd be Lakers Clippers. I guess it would probably have to be okay. OKC Golden State is the 1-8. Denver Minnesota is the 2-7. Memphis Houston as the 3-6. And then Lakers Clippers is the 4-5. I think those would be some really entertaining first round series. I mean, even Memphis and Houston, kind of two like younger teams too. Memphis, like I said, been there. Obviously, had a down year last year without Ja playing for most of the year. And just like those teams kind of seem to have a little bit of beef when they've played. So I think, okay, that's what I'm going with. My dream matchups: OKC Golden State, Denver Minnesota, Memphis Houston, Lakers Clippers. That'd be sweet out west. And then out east, give me, I mean, it's probably going to be Cavs. I guess I'll go Heat. Heat would be the one that intrigues me the most. Then, yeah, honestly, this is fine. Go Celtics Magic. I think that could be fine. Like Paolo versus Tatum could be fun. I definitely want Pacers Bucks. And then, Knicks Pistons is fine. Kind of like the Pistons are a little bit like in a spot almost the Knicks were a couple years ago as like the up-and-coming team, like kind of getting back to relevance. Was relevant in the 90s and now. So that's fine. Let's go with that. I mean, I don't know. I'm fine with Clippers in the 8. I don't think any one of those teams are beating Cleveland. I mean, heck, you can even go Philly. Philly could somehow jump up and play like Boston. I think that'd be fun. It's just like fun when those two cities get together. And then I guess maybe Orlando, Cleveland, like rematch of last year. Yeah, okay. Actually, I could see it. Okay, I'll switch that. I guess I want Orlando to come in 8, get a Cavs Magic rematch, and then any of like the Hawks, Heat, or Sixers to be the 7. But granted, I guess like Heat Celtics doesn't have the same, aura now that Jimmy's gone, but could still be a good series there. All right. So that's gonna wrap it up. Episode 3 here in the books. Thank you guys so much for watching. Especially those of you watching here live on YouTube and X. I appreciate, 7th inning stretch, Jay Edwards, VSN, for dropping some comments today. Like I said, don't be afraid to comment if you guys are watching live. It makes it a lot more enjoyable for me to kind of go back and forth. Also gives me a little bit of a breather at times. I think got my cadence down a little bit better today. Improving here every time. Again, my apologies being a little bit late on start. I was trying to get my one buddy Matt on. Somebody came up with him a little bit late, so just kind of once again had to solo ball this. But yeah, I mean, no games here next couple days. Encourage those of you who don't, definitely watch some college basketball tomorrow. I mean, that's really your only option for like sports because there's no pro sports, and I guess that's the other downside of this. 4 nations now being with the NBA All-Star break here. It's a little bit turning into MLB All-Star break. No pro sports, but we got college basketball. Should be some good games tomorrow on that. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we're right back in the NBA. Final 2 months here down the stretch. Should be a lot of fun. Gonna hopefully keep having some fun talking about it with you guys. So those of you watch live, thank you so much. Those who watched after, appreciate it as well. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Variety Sports Network channel. I will see you guys next time. Peace.